No, yeah, it's oh, every time. Hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome. We are experiencing some technical difficulties. Oh, Fallon, it stopped. Um, yeah, but now I can't hear you. Oh, it stopped because you're muted. So, hey, good afternoon, Brian. Yeah, we are having some mic difficulties on.
What
Oh,
about
yes,
good?
talk. Keep
Hello.
talking.
Can you hear me?
Oh my God, yes. What did you do?
I pressed a button.
What button?
It's a button that says gain or inst, and it was lit up. And I don't think it's normally lit up. So I pressed it, and now voila.
Thank God, because that noise, it was. Could you hear it? Could you hear it, Fallon?
It was very light, like feedback noise, but I couldn't hear, like, it wasn't like I wasn't going to, like, punch anybody over it.
It sounded like an alien, like
Well,
all metallic.
I have been away for a couple of weeks, so maybe I got replaced. You never know.
By an alien.
My mug for you.
Yes. You guys, for those of you who can't read it, it says, "Back the F up, sprinkle tits. Today is not the day. I will shank you with my horn." I got that for Fallon for Christmas because that's how we are.
That's how we are.
Mhm. Okay, so we have 2 people here. Hi, Shirley. Hi, Brian. Um, I think that we should go ahead and get into it since A, we started a little bit late, and B, what's up, replay crew? Don't want them being like, all right, what the hell's going on? It's just technical difficulties. What's happening?
It's the whole
So
show. The whole show is just
that is,
technical difficulties and how we handle them.
and welcome. Isn't it amazing? So, hey guys, welcome back to the video podcast of That's So Effed Up. Yeah, we're trying to stay in the That's So Effed Up the podcast. As you guys know, we are hopefully, and if you didn't know, now you know, we're recording live episodes of the podcast every Friday for the most part, unless, some shit comes up because sometimes that happens. But for the most part, every Friday, we are going to be here podcasting live. Pretty exciting,
I'm
right,
excited.
Fallon?
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Hell yeah. So, um, just a little reminder for anybody who is here watching the live podcast for the first time. It's a little bit different than other lives where we're more interactive with the people in the chat. It's a little too distracting to do that while we are trying to also produce an episode and not get too off the rails. So, yeah, Fallon, I feel like you had a comment.
I was just going to say we already are pretty off the rails when we try to do an episode, so we can't get any further.
Yeah, and actually I was doing research for this and I I got to say, I was looking at podcasts and anything that was over an hour and 20 minutes, I was like, that's a no for me, dog. I don't have time. So I actually think, which is, funny because right now I'm just like blah, bitty blahing on about some shit that people don't care. But I actually think that episodes should definitely be 80 minutes or shorter because when I was looking, I was finding like 1.5, 2 hour podcasts. And I was like, I don't have time in the day for that. So that's just a thought of mine. You guys, let us know what you think in the comments. And we're going to go and we're going to just do a podcast like you guys aren't even here, okay? But you should be here, have fun, talk amongst yourself in the comments. I think today's story will bring up a lot of speculation.
And I would say if you have a comment or a question, throw it in the comments and tell us what it's about so that afterward we can make sure we address the questions that anyone had as we went.
Yeah, we'll be taking questions and comments after the episode. So, yeah, that's kind of how Fridays are going to go around here. So, join us every Friday as we record our podcast, That's So Fucked Up, live at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be a good time, and we're going to jump into it, right? I say let's jump into it.
Let's do it.
Okay. me. Okay.
And we're at 6 minutes.
I know. Is that good? Is that bad? Is that too much?
No, 6 minutes, meaning like I think you can say all the bad words now.
Right.
Looking out for you, boo.
You're like, swear to your heart's content now.
I know it makes my Ashley happy.
Yes. Okay, so here we go. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. This is That's So Fucked Up, a podcast about cults, murder, and other generally fucked up stuff. We are your hosts. I'm Ashley Love Richards.
And I'm Fallon Maury.
And I feel like we're in the fucking studio today.
Yeah.
It didn't used to be like that. But now, as you guys know, we do some live recording over on the YouTubes, and it's very exciting. And
it's exciting. It's pressure filled. Like I'm like, oh, well, people are looking at me now, so I can't make weird facial expressions.
No, you should make all of the weirdest facial expressions. I think.
True.
I think that's what makes the video podcasting fun. And but it's cool, you guys, because Fallon goes out back into an alley to record now. And I set up my office like with shit. So if you guys are listening and you're like, what alley does Fallon record in, and what shit does Ashley have in her office, and what kind of faces are they making? Boom, this is the place to find out.
Also, normally Ash has to describe my facial reactions because sometimes I don't vocally react with as much energetic energy as I should. So now you can see them.
Woo!
Woo!
Also, if you guys hear a pounding in the background, I apologize. The neighbors are getting their carpet taken out. God, there was so many innuendos in there, pounding and carpets and but sorry for that, guys. You might hear it, you might not. I don't know. But let's get into today's episode.
I'm excited.
Today's episode, shall we?
Yeah, I'm stoked.
Do you know what today's episode is about?
I don't.
Okay, because you thought you did, and then I changed it.
I thought I did, and then the title on the screen is different. So now I'm like, what am I listening to? What are you wearing? What am I listening to?
You're like, that doesn't say Selena.
It does not.
No. You know, you guys, I am so indecisive sometimes. I'll have 3 or 4 cases ready to go, and I'll be like, okay, yeah, we're doing Selena. And then 3 hours before we record, I'm like, no, I feel like doing Skid Town.
Skid Town.
I was like, no, I feel like doing Skidmore, Missouri. And
well,
Missouri.
You know what's funny is the last time we were indecisive, we were also talking about a town, and y'all hear that when it comes out. It is absolutely unhinged, like apathy from both of us.
Oh my gosh, we just couldn't get into it that day. We were so tired. We were like, "What's up, you guys? Thanks for being here." You know what? It's that time of year. We're tired, right?
The town's on fire. I don't know what else to
Happy
tell
New
you.
Year. Life's on fire. Paint the town red. I don't know. So today we're talking about, well, we're partly talking about this dickhead, Rex McElroy, or Ken. He has too many people with too many names, or don't trust him. Ken Rex McElroy. He was a real dick, the epitome of a real bully. And he is, I think his murder is what makes the town most infamous. But first, I would like to tell you a little bit about why Skidmore, Missouri is probably definitely one of the worst towns in America.
I'm sorry, I'm uncontrollably laughing because normally when we talk about a person, you say their name and then you're like, he was born in 1945, and you were like, he was a real dick, and I was not expecting that. I thought
I
I was getting a bio, maybe some facts.
I think he was kind of born a dick. Like I just don't think he was a good person by nature, but also I'm going to bring up a really interesting connection about having a lot of kids and how that's generally like I don't think usually great.
I'm
But
excited.
yeah, right? What? But first I'm going to tell you about Skidmore, Missouri.
All right.
Missouri.
Missouri.
You guys, I'm sorry if you live in Skidmore. I don't mean to offend you. It just it sounds like a rough place. Okay? That's all. That's all I'm saying. Okay. So, thanks so much to the few, and few, by few, I mean 3 viewers here today. Really appreciate you guys.
We
Just
do.
we really do. No, I just want to throw that out there. I'm like, man, we have like a full fucking podcast, so we can't get more than like 3 viewers. We love and appreciate you guys so much. It's just it's rough times out here on the YouTube, I guess.
Well,
But
we're in Skidmore. We're in Missouri. Maybe
we,
everybody doesn't have the internet. I don't know.
well,
I don't know anything about this town.
well, my friend, you're in luck because I'm about to tell you all about it. Okay, so, well, I'm I'm going to tell you more about its history of crime because it's always been a very small town at the time of Ken McElroy's murder. The population was 400. And it's apparently since been dwindling.
Dwindling from 400.
Yes.
That's like less people than live in my subdivision.
What is current population? What's this place called? Skidmore. What is this place?
Called?
Whoa. Current population as of 2021, 225 people.
Wow. It
Bitch.
still beats out Centralia, which has a population of 4, but not by much.
Centralia. Yeah, but Centralia's on fire.
That's true. Centralia's on fire.
So, I mean, okay, so even though it's a really small town, it just has a history of weird ass shit going down. People describe it as a very depressing place to be. Some claim that your GPS won't work if you drive through there, but my GPS doesn't work all the fucking time. It's love you, robot overlords, but like Google Maps needs to get it together. Sometimes it takes so long until I actually like You know, it'll take you so long sometimes to tell if you're going on the right route,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden um you're on a freeway ramp that you don't mean to be, and you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, there's no exits for 10 more miles and there's
Yeah.
nowhere to turn around. I did that on my way home the other day. My GPS was like, exit now. And exit now was an exit before. And
Yeah.
it thought I was on the right road. And I definitely was not.
It's you can't yeah. You 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 can't always trust our robot overlords. What's up, guys?
Love you, Siri. Mean it. Don't
Yep.
be mad
Hey,
at
Google.
me.
You're so helpful. Um, crime rates are generally pretty low, but when crime does happen, it's weirdly horrific. In 1910, Hez Roscoe murdered an entire family of 4, then burned down the house with all of the bodies inside.
Yikes.
Yeah, pretty brutal. The murder of Ken McElroy on July 10th, 1981, which I will be talking about in detail today. I just realized that I turn my chair a lot, and I wonder if that's annoying on camera. I'm going to try to sit more still.
But you know what you're not doing?
What? Oh, it's coming. It's coming. Don't worry.
Don't open those floodgates. Don't break the seal.
It's
Maybe we just
happening.
did.
It's going to happen. In 1994, William Taylor killed his wife. He put her dead cat under a piece of farming equipment, and she went to try to get the cat to bury it properly. He's like, "Oh, I ran your cat over. Better go get it." And then when she went to get it, he rolled over her too. And everybody always thought it was a farming accident, but this
Ugh.
this town has a weird, like a very weird what happens in Skidmore stays in Skidmore type of vibe.
It sounds like even the town name sounds like the rough area
You're
of
like, I
Missouri.
don't yeah. I'm not taking a vacation to Skidmore anytime soon, regardless of what's happening there. In 2013, Steve Parsons was convicted of sexually assaulting a 14-year-old, and after the verdict was read, he took a cyanide pill and was convulsing on the courtroom floor just minutes later.
Oh my god. That sounds like something out of a movie.
Dude, it's it's just weird that they're all kind of so disturbing and kind of coincidental. In 2000, oh, I said the 2013 one. So to take it back to 2000, in 2000, Wendy Gillenwater was murdered by her boyfriend, who, trigger warning for intense brutality. She was beaten and stomped to death by her boyfriend, and there was actually evidence that she was dragged behind his car until she died. Yeah, sorry. I know you get the trigger
No.
warning, Fallon, but you don't like get to skip it. I'm sorry. I know. Ugh.
I'm trying to fast forward you. This
Yeah,
button doesn't work.
it's not working. Um, luckily, because our justice system is is ugh. Luckily because our justice system is so often unjust, her killer is serving life in prison. And then I don't know if you know of this one, because this one is I've actually heard it on its own. On December 16th, 2004, 23-year-old Bobby Joe Stinnett. Let's take that from the top. On December 16th, 2004, 23-year-old Bobby Joe Stinnett was found dead in her apartment, I believe. her housing. she was found she was found dead in her home, and her mother described the scene by saying it looked like her stomach exploded. Her baby had been cut out of her stomach and stolen by Lisa M. Montgomery.
Oh, I have heard about this, or at least something similar. Like, because I think this has happened more than once, but oh my God.
Unfortunately, I think you're right that it has happened more than once. Um, she pretended that it was hers. So when she got arrested, she was having a fucking baby shower for her stolen baby. So you guys be careful who you meet online. Don't go to their house, baby. They met online. Um, Stinnett was a dog breeder, and her murderer, Montgomery, was supposed to buy a terrier from her. And she got to her house and strangled her. And once she was unconscious, she cut the baby out of her. And unfortunately, Bobby Joe did die, but the
Oh,
baby was okay. Um,
wow.
yeah, after the baby actually survived. She was treated at the hospital and given to her father. So, that, that's good, I guess, that, the baby ended up with family.
My face has been frozen like in this position since you started like 10
This
minutes
this
ago, laying all this out. Like, I feel like it's just pinching into a lemon. Like,
no, this town has an insane history. Lisa Montgomery is one of 3 women in US history that's going to be executed by the federal government. So,
whoa.
pretty intense. And then making this all the weirder, a cousin of Bobby Joe Stinnett, Branson Perry, just vanished off the face of the earth when he was 20. Apparently, he was cleaning a house with a friend, went to put some jumper cables in the garage, and was just never seen again. And the entire town searched for him, apparently found nothing. And they all of a sudden did find the jumper cables a couple weeks later that just appeared in plain sight on the property. But to this day, nothing has ever come of the case. It's just like he
Wow.
fell
See,
off the earth.
when stuff like that happens, I'm like, God, do you need to believe in the supernatural? Because like when someone says, "Oh yeah, that person walked out of the room and then just like disappeared. No car, no tracks, no nothing."
Do, 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 do,
Or
do,
like
do, do.
it's a glitch in the Matrix. I know you're singing the X-Files theme song. It took my
Mhm.
brain a second to catch up. I'm sorry.
Do, 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 do. Um, yeah. So, how is that for a little intro to the town?
That's a horrible town history. Like, I can't imagine that they put that in their brochures. Come visit Skidmore, where you have a, 1 in 27 chance of disappearing or exploding on the bedroom floor, whatever.
Having some insanely,
Having someone cut out a kidney. Like,
yeah,
that's
just
awful. Ugh.
very brutal history, and seems very shrouded in secrecy. So, let's talk about this guy, Ken Rex McElroy, who his his murder is definitely, I think the you know what? I was gonna say, I think that the baby one is pretty famous, but I think the baby one that I'm thinking of, they had met on Facebook to buy baby clothes.
Oh, see, I do remember the one with the buying the dog from the lady. That is the one I remember because
Okay.
it was a long. time ago because I think they were still on Craigslist. You said Craigslist, right? Not meeting
Okay,
on
I
Facebook.
use Craigslist to this day, like not as much as Facebook Marketplace, but y'all listen, be careful, but it's still very useful for some things.
Just be careful because I feel like these days buying a puppy on Craigslist could be anything from, oops, are you accidentally showing up for a naked model shoot that I am advertising for, buying a puppy, or, being brutally murdered. So like I feel like any of those things could happen, and
I just feel
be careful.
like maybe meet people in public, you know?
I sold something on Craigslist once, and it was this really nice like standalone bar, and this lady was like, "Okay, I don't want to be rude. However, I don't know that you're not a murderer, and I don't want to meet at a storage unit. Can we meet at like a primary location so I can text somebody that you're a girl and you're like normal and you're not gonna kill me, and then I'm coming in there with like my son to pick up this thing." And I was like, "Yeah, lady, I get it. Like, let's meet at the Starbucks." And then she's like, "Okay, you seem normal. Let's do it."
Yeah, if somebody's like, "Oh, that's so weird that you're concerned about your safety while meeting a stranger," be like, no, you're weird. Buy a bar cabinet from somebody else, you know?
And
That
I feel like there's no way to reassure somebody because you can be like, "I promise I'm not gonna murder you," but then it seems weird that you brought that up in the first place. Like,
I
why
actually
is she
did
calling me
say
rude?
I actually did say that to somebody recently, and I was like, "That's why I don't have friends." Mhm, mhm. Okay, so Ken Rex McElroy was born on June 1st, 1934. His family and parents were impoverished migrant farm workers. His family and parents were impoverished migrant farm workers, and he was the 15th out of 16 children.
Ooh.
So, I just thought it was really interesting because I thought of fundamentalism and the quiverful movement and stuff, and how they have kids in order for those kids to be preordained to be
Right.
something or do something.
And this is how 15 out of 16 turned out, as a big bully,
Mhm.
essentially.
Mhm.
But also 15 kids, RIP mom's sanity. Mom.
16 kids.
16 kids, still even worse. Ouch.
Um, well, and it's they probably had so many kids to have help with farm work.
Oh, that's true.
So, it's kinda really fucked up. People just kind of like, we'll just create our own labor force. Don't have to pay the kids." So, he was pretty, and not that this fucking explains anything, but he was probably kind of, I know that kids who grow up in families where they barely know their goddamn parents because they're just basically employees for their parents, and they have 15 siblings who they know much better. That kind of neglect and forced work is obviously super uncool. This was also in the 40s. Shit was
Right.
wild back then. His parents were Tony and Mabel McElroy, and they moved around the Ozarks and eventually settled outside of town in Skidmore, Missouri, or settled right outside of Skidmore, Missouri. Like I said, extremely small town, population of 500 or less when they moved there.
Oof.
And McElroy was illiterate for the most part as he dropped out of school in 8th grade. Um he didn't do well in school. He thought that it was kind of pointless. Um you know, he basically grew up as just a labor force for strict parents in an impoverished situation, and probably neglected, and by his parents who see him as farm hands, you know? So
Oh.
if I were to put my therapist hat on for a second, I might think that he has antisocial behavior disorder. The Mayo Clinic defines that as a mental health condition. I believe it's a personality disorder.
It
In
is.
yeah, in which a person consistently shows no regard for right and wrong and ignores the rights and feelings of others. That's this guy to a fucking T.
And in case anybody isn't aware of what a personality disorder is compared to like a sickness, a personality disorder essentially means it's like part of your personality makeup. So it's not something you're like outgrowing. That is what you are, and you're likely to be that like for your life essentially.
Like narcissism.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, most narcissists can't heal because they legitimately don't have the ability to see that they are a narcissist.
Yeah.
Um, which is actually why I've tried to have more compassion for some of the narcissists in my life,
I know. You do
because
so
I'm like,
well.
dude, you can't help that you suck. Like, ugh. You know, I do my best. So like I said, he dropped out of school pretty young and immediately started getting into trouble. He got into all kinds of theft and shit. The cops, I think, were a mixture of scared of him and or in cahoots with him with cattle thefts and shit. Just like some real fucking podunk fucking
I guess to me, like, cows all look the same. So how are you driving by a field of like 100 cows going, that one, 84th from the left, that's mine?
I'm
Like,
sure
how do you know?
they just know, okay?
Or they're branded, I guess. They have their farm's brand on them, so you know whose they are.
Right. Yes. And so some of the law enforcement was obviously crooked, and a lot of them were really scared of him because he would point a gun to a cop's face just as quick as he would point a gun to a civilian's face. Like, he was psychotic and he somehow kept getting away with things. He had charges brought against him over 21 times in his life.
And nothing
And
stuck.
he was we'll get to something, but he was just able to evade the law all the time. And like I said, I think it's because of, you know, being in cahoots and just him being a very intimidating person. He would intimidate witnesses. He was very known for his intimidation tactics. If he didn't like you, he would fucking sit on your street for hours just watching your house.
Oh.
And the cops would be like, yeah, he's not technically doing anything wrong. So
Ew.
can't do anything.
That's almost scarier than somebody saying like, I'm gonna beat your ass, because you don't know what that person's doing, and it's so much creepier just like staring at you. Ugh.
Yeah, no, this guy was a terrible, just a terrible human. Like I said, he was just able to avoid this shit except for an attempted murder, which was one of at least two, but we're going to talk about that in a little bit. He would intimidate the shit out of people. He would follow them into guns and restaurant into guns. He would follow them into stores and restaurants. He pretty much always had a gun on him. Nobody felt safe from this guy. So jurors and, you know, peers of his, and I think that I don't know. I think that maybe at some point he had to get moved further away because I think the witness in intimidation was always 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 caused the charges against him to get dropped. People were just too scared to go up against him. Because what if
Of
you say,
course.
"Hey, this guy whatever," or, and then the jury says, "Hey, yeah, he's guilty," but then he gets off on a technicality or something, and then those fucking dozen people are worried that this guy's gonna come stalk them and shit. Because everybody it's a very small town. Everybody knows everybody,
Of course,
you
and knows
know?
where they live and where they work and
Mhm.
probably the one street they walk on to get there, like, nobody's gonna talk against him.
Yeah, and, and obviously he has the reputation of not giving a flying fuck. So yeah, people just recant their testimonies and all kinds of shit. He was accused of assault, child molestation, statutory rape, arson, animal cruelty, like I said, tons of theft, hog and cattle wrestling, which is stealing live animals. Which is
It just sounds like, going into a ring, like, you go in and somebody puts the cow in and you just who goes
ru-
down first?
no, when I was listening to this podcast, I was like, I thought it said hog and cattle wrestling. So I was like, are they wrestling farm animals?
Oh,
Like,
did
what's
you say
happening?
wrestling?
Rustling,
Oh, rustling, like it
like
with a U.
rustling is how it's spelled.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then he would sell the stolen animals, which I mean, I don't know when you last bought a cow, but it's good money. Animals are expensive.
It's been a while.
Burglary, which is scary because isn't that breaking into somebody's house?
Yes.
Yeah. It's so he would just steal shit, but he would also break into people's houses like a fucking dick. I hate this guy.
Yeah, I kinda hate this guy too.
Right?
I wanna look up a picture to him. I'm listening, but I'm also gonna look up his picture.
Yeah, do it. He was over 6 feet tall and uh, in his adulthood, he was over 6 feet tall and weighed 270 pounds, estimated. He was
Whoa,
a big guy.
big boy.
And he had been working on farms most of his life, which I don't know if you know. I don't know when the last time you bought a cow or did farm work was, but farm work is pretty physically demanding. It's hard labor.
He's scary looking.
Yeah, so he also was just like a scary looking big motherfucker who knew it and used it to his advantage. Um so this is crazy. He had at least 10 kids, some say up to 15, all born to different women. Okay, Nick Cannon, right? That's the only other motherfucker I know out there
Isn't there
trying to
another one? There's another person that also has a lot of kids, like, with different people, but Nick Cannon for sure.
Nick, we should do an episode about Nick Cannon. He's trying to start a football team or a family cult. I don't know, but he wasn't his show Wild and Out? Because
Yeah.
that motherfucker is wild and out more than anybody.
Wasn't he
Well,
married to Mariah Carey at one point?
yeah, and don't you dare say anything about Mariah, okay?
Yeah. Did you know James Vanderbeek has 6 kids? Never mind.
Okay, Ashley. No, I did not. Fun fact.
That's the
Okay.
greatest compliment I've received all week.
For anybody who's like, who the fuck is that? You guys, come on, Dawson's Creek. That's like literally it's not Dawson. It's like, oh, who's James Vanderbeek? Dawson's Creek. Like
Yes,
that was
that's
his
his name.
name. Yeah.
It was his creek.
Ap- Apparently, yeah, he rocked that shit. Oh my god, I saw a clip of Seventh Heaven today, and I actually put it on our story, and it's the mom and the dad who didn't he ended up being a, didn't he end up being a frickin' I don't wanna I don't wanna say anything wrong. Didn't that guy end up being not cool, the dad from Seventh Heaven?
I don't know, but now I'm also looking up that.
Okay, in this clip, though, she goes, "I need you to know something. I've smoked pot." The pause was literally that long and dramatic, and he goes, "Hey, look at me. Look at me. I'm making a face.
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
doing like a God, I'm
Start
doing a
again.
thing for you. Oh my
No,
god.
I'm
Ugh,
sorry.
ugh.
It's just you guys get to see what's backstage
This is what
on a
happens."
normal
I'm like,
day.
"What are you fucking looking at still? Are you still looking at James Vanderbeek?" Actually, wait, you were looking up the guy from Seventh Heaven. Is he
Correct.
bad? Is he bad?
Yeah, he apparently has gone to jail or he's like out of the spotlight now because I think he's been accused of like child molestation, but he was never able to be criminally prosecuted because the statute of limitations. You know how much we love those.
Oh, I love that. Okay, in the clip, though,
Okay.
she's like, "I just need you to know something. I've smoked pot." And he goes and then it pans back to her, and she's like and then it pans back to him, and he's like and that was scene end scene. Um, YouTube viewers, that was just for you, and Fallon. You're welcome, okay? Yeah.
Wasn't that show about like he was a pastor or something and they had all those kids and like Jessica Biel was like went crazy for a while because she like smoked a cigarette every once in a while and it was a big
Did
deal.
they have 7 kids?
Maybe 7 kids. Is that why it was called Seventh Heaven?
I don't know, I didn't watch that shit, but I just wanna say that, Pup Groomer in our Chizat, "What's up?" said that there's a lot of money in livestock sales, so I'm gonna put that in, podcast terms. One of our cool YouTube friends told us during our live recording that they bought half a steer. I love that, by the way. I love people who are just out there, like, buying half of a cow to support local farms and, um, from a butcher, a private butcher, and it was $1,200.
Wow. We're looking at buying a quarter cow to stock our freezer. We have looked into it and it's like $350 or something.
Yeah,
Bananas.
bananas, but I mean, how good does that feel to know that your cow that you're eating for dinner was, killed, like, in a pretty cool way, like, cooler.
I mean, it doesn't feel good for the cow, but makes me feel
I
better.
don't I really don't like factory farming. That's
Oh, yeah, 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 for
the
sure.
main, like, problem that I have. So, yeah, apparently there's a lot of money to be had in livestock sales. So this is
Mm.
kind of how he made a good chunk of his living along with, farm work to keep him big and strong and scary.
And he had 10 to 15 children with willing women. Yikes.
I mean, that's questionable. Nobody ever said that outright, so that's not
Oh.
something I assume.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because of what I'm about to tell you.
Mm.
Um, he ended up having a total of 4 wives in his lifetime: Olita, Sharon, Alice, and Trina, and super awesome. A lot of these marriages overlapped or were abruptly ended.
Overlapped.
Which I'm not gonna really talk about Olita and Sharon. I'm not gonna go into all of that because it doesn't.
A little bit of a lead on my mind. Sorry, that's
Oh,
what popped into my head.
but yeah, yeah.
We haven't sang yet this episode. So,
Good job. Yeah, no, we haven't. Good job. Good job. Um, so he because he was so feared around town, this motherfucker was so brazen. He didn't try to really hide shit that he did. He started grooming a 12-year-old mhm,
trigger
named
warning.
Trina McLeod, who
Ugh.
he later married.
Oh.
Yeah. So basically, he meets Trina when she's 12 and he's 35.
Ew.
And he would pick her up from school and give her gifts, the kind of typical grooming shit. He eventually started raping her and did that throughout their relationship. And
Oh.
he also allegedly hired a younger boy to pretend he was her boyfriend so she could sneak around with him more without her parents knowing. Like,
Oh.
oh, I'm going to hang out with Billy, Apparently, the boy her age would pick her up and drop her off at her parents' house after she would hang out with
Oh.
this motherfucker. But people in town obviously saw shit. He was very open about stuff, and it was a very small town. But it was kind of like this open secret that nobody really felt safe to confront. Her parents wanted nothing to do with McElroy, obviously, and they definitely didn't want him anywhere near they definitely didn't want him anywhere near their daughter. They did try to press charges against him, specifically for child molestation and statutory rape.
Okay.
But then he did what any guy would do when they're afraid of getting caught. Shot her dog and burned their house down.
What? I
As
mean,
you do.
that's not the best way to get on your in-laws' good side, so I've heard.
I don't
But
know. Fear and intimidation can be super
was this
effective
was this after he was married to the girl or before?
before.
Oh.
No,
Oh.
it is a weird way of courting. But they didn't know what the fuck to do. So they dropped the charges against him and let her marry him. He was basically like, I'm not going to go to jail for having sex with your daughter. I'm going to marry her instead. And if you don't let that happen, I will fucking murder you as I did with your dog and I did with your home.
Yeah, like there's more where that came from. I've gotten off for every crime I've ever committed. So, good luck.
Seriously. So at just 14 years old, Trina became pregnant
Oh.
and dropped out of school in ninth grade. And at that point, he was still with his second wife, Alice, and married to her and lived with her. Trina goes to live with Alice and McElroy.
Ew.
And I'm, ugh.
It's so hard to process all this saying anything other than ew, like
And
over and
just
over.
and just
That's so
making that
awful.
and just making that face of
Like I just bit into a lemon, like the whole episode. I'm sure the viewers will be like, nice.
nice face, lady.
It's your fault.
So he divorced Alice to marry Trina to avoid statutory rape charges. Also, because then she wouldn't be able to testify against him in court. That's
Oh,
fun. That's cute. I love that.
this guy's a dick.
Right? It's just like he's a cunt.
Who can be this bad? Like,
He's such a cunt.
whoa.
He's more than a dick. Like he is I actually hate that the female anatomy word means worse than the male anatomy word. That's so annoying. But like really he is a cunt. So I don't know what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Trina gave birth around 16 days after she was moved into his house. Alice also had children. And shortly after, Trina and Alice run away together to Trina's parents' house. They're like, we both got to get the fuck out of here.
I'm
This
sure he was
is,
abusive.
I'm sure. Yeah. Um, Unfortunately, it's a pretty small town, and McElroy was able to track them down and take them back to his house of hell.
Oh God. And they couldn't like call the cops and be like, "Hey, this guy just busted in and took my 14-year-old daughter and this other woman and he's obviously abusing them." Like,
No, the cops wouldn't do anything, remember?
oh,
Because they were in cahoots and or scared of him.
oh my gosh.
Okay, I may have mixed it up a teensy tiny bit. He did that. Her parents, but then okay, so earlier on, he had only threatened to shoot the family dog and burn the house down. When right after they pressed charges against him for child molestation and statutory rape, he was like, I'm gonna fucking burn your house down and shoot your dog. And then they were really scared of him. And then when Trina and Alice ran away back to their house, he did that. He actually did shoot the dog and light their house on fire. So
Oh God.
the parents really didn't know how to help her. Um, and Trina and Alice were just kind of like stuck. They were just like his captors, basically.
I was on mute. I did respond. I said, "Oh my God." Same thing I've been saying the whole time.
Right. um, Trina eventually got to tell her story, which led to him being indicted in June of 1973 for assault, arson, and statutory rape. And he was arrested, but was unfortunately released on $2,500 bail.
What?
Yeah. Good old bail.
What the hell?
Like I said, he had impregnated Trina. So during the time that he was, I think he was in jail for maybe 10 days or something. During that time, Trina and the baby were placed in a foster care home, which was located in Maryville, Missouri. And it was an actual, like it was a family's home, you know. Um this family had children of their own. They were, they were just trying to help out this young mother who had a baby of her own. I mean, it was a baby with a baby,
Yeah.
and he was eventually able to track them down and then proceeded to do his thing where he just sat outside of the home for hours on end, literally just to intimidate everyone in the house and waiting for her to come out. And he threatened them, the family that was
Yeah.
housing Trina, saying that he knew where their biological daughter went to school and the bus route she took.
Oh my
So
God.
he had more charges filed against him for his actions with this family. However, none of the charges went through because nobody wanted to testify against him, as usual.
Ugh.
After all the struggles After all the struggles that Trina had been through to stay hidden from him, she gave up. After this incident, she willingly went back to his house with the baby and dropped all of her original accusations.
Oh.
She was just like, there's no way that I can get away from She was like, there's just no way that I can get away from this guy. It's futile. I'll just
Ugh.
go be with him.
And it makes me so sad because she's probably like so probably being like horribly abused at home and like trying to take care of this baby, and she's a baby
Mhm.
herself. Oh, makes me so sad.
Her parents don't even feel like they can protect her. How scary to be in the same town as your parents and being like held hostage because basically that person's like, I will fucking kill all of you. So you
Oh my
better
God.
sit tight.
I don't know. As a mother, I think I would like well, I don't want to say it on the record because I would do awful things
Don't
if somebody
say
had my
anything
child.
on the record,
Nope,
Fallon.
I will not.
Okay.
I will not. But
Fallon didn't do anything. She never would, you guys. Okay. So on July 27th, 1976, farmer Romaine Henry was shot in the fucking face and stomach. Hold on. He was claimed that he is. Did I not have that? Okay, but so let me take that back. On July 27th, 1976, McElroy shot farmer Romaine Henry. Um, he shot him twice at pretty close range, although Henry did survive. So, obviously, McElroy claimed that he was innocent, and Henry had to prove his accusations, but he was also threatened by McElroy. McElroy would park outside of his house, like leading up to the court case. That
oh
was
my
a big tactic of his, was parking and sitting there watching. And
oh,
people knew that he was always packing.
ugh.
So
And
sitting in his car with a gun watching you.
and you've just gone through this incredible trauma of course being shot.
Right, there's that. That's not awesome.
So he's probably like sitting in his house just shaking because he knows the guy with a gun is once again out there. That's oh my God. What a dick.
And unfortunately, Henry also had a criminal history. So he didn't have much credibility in the court system, anyways. And McElroy was a really hard guy to go up against. So obviously, he was acquitted and no charges were followed after for this individual case.
What?
And he had a really good lawyer, too. Like a really good in the fact that he was shady as fuck and was great at helping McElroy get away with stuff. He had a really shady lawyer who would do whatever it took to win in any of his cases. In
Oh.
1980, one of McElroy's several children argued with a local grocery store clerk. The store clerks accused the children, or one of the kids. I think 3 of the McElroy kids were in the store. And they, Ernest Bowenkamp and his wife, Lois, were like, "Hey, you can't steal candy from our store." So after this argument, and Bo is 70 years old, by the way. He's like an old man.
Yeah.
And his kid's like, "Oh, well, you know what, like the McElroy family." It reminds me of McDoyle Rules from Billy Madison.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like just
O'Doyle rules.
right, like
O'Doyle
just
rules.
a family of bullies.
Yeah.
So basically, McElroy's like, "You're not gonna tell my fucking kids that they can't steal from your store." Weird hill to die on. And he starts also fucking stalking them. He would drive past their house, shooting a gun into the air, and eventually threatened Bo in the back of his store with a shotgun. And an argument ensues, and he shoots Bo in the fucking neck and drives off, leaving him for dead.
Oh my god. But I have a question. It sounds like he does a lot of driving and stalking, and
That is his jam.
I wonder how he keeps his schedule organized. Like what his planner looks like stalking Bo, stalking Susan, 12 to 1 lunch, 1 to 2, stalking Fred, shoot some guy. Like
No, I know it's a
how does he keep
lot,
it straight? How do you keep that many grudges straight?
right?
It's a full-time job.
It's mhm. But it's weird because he keeps shooting people, like, in the neck and face and shit, and they keep surviving. So, Bo survives and goes to
What?
the police. I know, like, how do you get shot in the neck and survive? I don't get that. He goes to the police, and McElroy was arrested and charged with attempted murder. However, he was only convicted at the trial for assault.
What?
I don't know, man. But this the court in this town or this county or whatever is a fucking joke. It's crazy.
I wonder if like the day before trial, they just go, "Hey, is anyone interested in being a judge tomorrow? Come on over. We have a spot for you.
Yeah.
You have to hear a case."
You want to give it a go? Because we're tired of hearing from this guy and his
It's like
lawyer.
a 6-year-old boy up on the judge's stand. It's like, "Sounds good.
Cool.
Guilty."
Bye. Not guilty for the most part. Although, yeah, he was convicted of assault and then freed on bail while his appeal was pending.
Whoa.
Stop letting this guy go. Stop it. Stop. So, immediately after he was released from a post-trial hearing, he went to the local watering hole, the D&G Tavern, and he had an M1 Garand rifle on him with a bayonet attached to it.
I know what that is. Did you know when I was in Navy ROTC, that's the kind of rifle we would do like rifle drill moves and march around with? No
With the
bayonets.
oh,
There's a spot for a bayonet, but we wouldn't have it. It was also lead filled, so you couldn't actually shoot it, but that's the kind we used.
whoa. It would have been more metal.
To
Like,
do it with the bayonet.
yeah.
We were all learning, and I don't think they wanted us to poke our eyes out or each other.
It's funny because it would be technically more metal, but I meant like more metal, you know? Like
I knew what you meant.
devil
More like,
horns.
oh, that means I love you. That's not metal. That's I love you.
It's
Metal.
metal.
Metal. I got you.
The two, yeah. You know. So he's at the tavern and he's got his rifle.
With a bayonet.
Yeah. And he's fucking gonna like he's making threats and talking a big game about what he's gonna do to Bo Bowenkamp when he gets the chance. He's gonna finish the job. And you know, obviously going to authorities was not helping anybody's case.
No.
So during the so he's at the tavern talking about all this stuff, and obviously this is making people very anxious. So McElroy's hearing keeps getting delayed because the lawyer is really good at delaying shit basically until it just like
Falls off.
dust in the wind. Yeah.
Yes.
And so, you know, a few men from the town are like, listen, we got to come up with a plan. So they met at Legion Hall in the center of town, and this included a Nottoway County Sheriff, Dan Estes. And they asked him questions about how they could protect themselves. He's like, you guys should form a neighborhood watch. It's like, cool. So you're saying you can't help.
Yeah.
It's in our hands.
So you can walk around and watch him stalking people.
Right. Like what? Yeah. Cause he said, yeah, you know, keep your distance from him. So
Thanks for the advice.
yeah, thanks for the hot tip, Dan. So they decide to go to the tavern as a group, and guess who's there? Mr. McElroy.
Rex.
So what?
Rex.
Rex. Yeah. I thought you said rats. And I was like, yeah, I know. It's precarious.
Sorry, I was answering your question. Guess who's there? Rex.
It was Rex. Uh-huh. With his tiny little arms.
With his bayonet.
His tiny arms, bayonet. Yeah. And he gets into his truck. He leaves the bar. He gets into his truck. He's with Trina. And as he gets in, he is shot at several times, but hit twice. But shot at by two different men because it was two different rifles that hit him. Well, at least two different men. I heard 2 to 3 shots from each rifle. One was a center fire rifle and one was a .22 rim fire rifle. Whatever that means.
I was like, oh, you sound pretty good.
I mean, totally, right? Like .22. Trina, luckily, didn't get hit or hurt in the incident at all. She was able to get out of the car and get to safety. And listen to how crazy this is. About 30 people had surrounded the truck when he got shot. And they think there were up to 46 potential witnesses to this murder.
Whoa.
But nobody saw a thing, Fallon.
Whoa. What? I mean,
To this day, no one saw a thing.
yeah.
They don't know.
Can't. No, I didn't see a guy with a gun.
Nope.
He was just sitting there and his chest exploded.
Nobody called an ambulance. Nobody did anything. Trina did try to, or she did identify a gunman. She said a man named Del Clement was one of the men, but nobody ever came forward and, there were 46 witnesses who didn't see jack shit. So uh she tried to sue the town for $6 million with a wrongful death suit, but they settled for 17,000, and she was like, all right, cool. Like, I don't know if she really cared. I think
I
she
don't really
probably,
like the guy. I just wanted the money.
well, like, she fucking did, for the fact that this whole town basically just watched as she was groomed and raped and held hostage by this man. She deserves, and I get what a hostile, fearful environment was, but like, she deserves a fucking payout,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
just emotional damages.
This is interesting because and I wonder if he got it from here, but there's a scene in the Stephen King book, It, where like a whole town basically gets together and sort of quietly plans to assassinate these gang members. And they all, like, on one street shoot into their cars. So at the end, like, no one person did it, right? Like, the whole town did it.
In It?
In the book, It, yeah.
I read It.
It's
It
one
was
of the, like, flashbacks, like, where he talks about the town and how dark and dirty and whatever the
Oh,
town is. But I wonder if he
okay.
got it from this, because it was, like, written after 1981.
Mm, maybe.
What it reminded me of.
It is
Anyway.
interesting, right? Yeah. Also, I did think it was kind of interesting, though, that Trina did try to. I did think it was interesting that Trina did try to identify a gunman. I wonder if she almost sort of had some kind of Stockholm syndrome type stuff going on, you know?
Maybe. Or if you identify a gunman, you're more likely to be able to find one person that would have to, like, do that payout. Like, if you could say, like, John did it, then, you know, John is the one you can sue for, the damages or whatever.
Right. Uh
Wow.
Yeah, so basically, the whole town kind of had the mindset that everybody was better off without him around.
And I'm guessing the police were kind of like, oh, well, I guess we don't know anything. I guess that's a case closed.
Cold case, yeah, what are you gonna do?
Whoopsie.
To this day, no one has ever come forward with any information. Like, people took that shit to their graves. Um,
Yeah.
and a couple funny quotes I got were, the postmaster said something akin to, "No one tried to hang the inventors of penicillin for finding a way to kill a germ." Ooh.
Wow.
And the former town marshal said, quote, "It's really a shame about the Silverado. That was a really nice truck." End quote.
That's savage. Wow. Whoa.
Whoa, former town marshal. Yeah.
Sick
Tell it like it
burns,
is.
town marshal.
Sick burn, bro. So that's the story of the town of Skidmore, Missouri, and the murder of the town bully, Ken Rex McElroy.
Wow. Oh my God.
Right?
Yeah, that's crazy. And you know what? I usually, like, when we have a topic and I'm like, okay, I won't research it, but I've heard about a lot of topics and I kind of know what's going on. I had no clue. I didn't
I
know it's
love
going to be
that.
like a whole town that murdered a guy. Whoa.
I remember hearing about it a long time ago. There was a documentary coming out that I never ended up watching, but I was just like, noted. I think it was, I don't know if it was when I had the podcast or not, but I was like, that is crazy. Stick a pin in that. I have to look into that more
Oh my
someday.
God. Yeah, that is crazy.
It's very like Wild West.
And it's 1980. Like, I keep thinking, like, okay, we're talking about, 1950 or something, or 1945, but this happened when he was like in his 50s, right? So 1981.
1981. He was
Wow.
47.
That was the year I was born.
And I was like, how can I make this more about me? Let's see. He died uh, you know, 7 years and 7 days before my birthday.
I'm
I
just saying, like, this happened fairly recently, not like in Wild West days, but it was a definite Wild West situation.
So, okay, what do you think? Like, do you think that it's good that the town took it into their own hands, or are you for what they did or against?
Uh this is not a fair question, but I will say I don't think I would normally advocate for just like people deciding to be judge, jury, and executioner of another human being. However, I would say in this case, they had no recourse. The law wasn't helping. Courts were not helping. This man had blatantly almost killed many people and been like let go onto the streets again. And probably most of these people could not leave this town. So it's like, I almost am like, well, what recourse did they have? Be afraid of this guy till he maybe died when he was 80? Or, you know, I think they did what they felt they had to do.
I'm for it in this case. I'm like, you know what? I think a little bit of vigilantism is what's up sometimes. And yeah, this guy was literally terrorizing an entire town of people and was seemingly invincible. And he was doing really bad things like stalking and trying to murder people and pedophilia and burning people's house down and shooting dogs and like impregnating and force marrying children. Just like he was a super not cool dude.
No.
And
Yeah.
in my mind,
I love how I talked around it logically and you were like, no, I'm for it.
no, fuck this guy. Death penalty, judge. It's not like it was one person who was judge, jury, and executioner. It was the whole fucking town.
Yeah.
That's probably the most unanimous fucking decision ever been made on somebody's death penalty.
Right. And if he had done one more thing, and let's say he had done it in another town and he had gone in front of a jury that wasn't his peers, I'm sure they would have just found a way to like get him off for that crime too. So there was never going to be justice against this man.
No, his lawyer was super good at being a dirty skis ball who could get him out of like anything.
That's a crazy story.
I know, right? So, you guys, we've talked about Centralia, Washington, the inspiration for Silent Hill. That motherfucker's on fire.
Pennsylvania.
Yep. Yeah, there. That state. There's a Centralia, Washington, though, too. Like
There is. We
Don't
talked
be-
about this in the episode. Centralia, Washington is not ablaze, and Centralia, Pennsylvania is ablaze.
is very much so ablaze and has been for a very long time. And then this town, well, y'all just heard. So if you think you know of a town that can top that, let us know. Hit us up on social media at TSFU the podcast. Go to our website, tsfuthepodcast.com, where you can play bingo, find all of our social media, find all of the places to listen to us. Patreon, buy me a coffee, all that good shit. Good stuff. So, you guys, thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Where we might talk about not a terrible town.
Yeah, we're not going to.
We're out for now.
I was giving you the.
What?
our sign off. Are you gonna do it or
From a what's our sign off? From a mother and a mother
It's
lover.
not. It's not a cult. It's just a podcast.
Oh, well, we go back and forth. Okay, I messed it up.
I'm just like staring at you, and you're just like, oh.
And I didn't realize there was a script because
This is
it's
behind the scenes, you guys. This is what happens. I'm like, Fallon, fucking hello.
uncommunicated expectations. But we'll see you next week, guys. Remember, it's not a cult, it's a podcast.
And one day we're gonna figure out what outros are and how to do them properly. A goodbye, gang.
Bye.
And scene.
I did my best, not realizing there was a rule.
But after all this time, you haven't picked up on my uncommunicated rules, Fallon. What the hell?
Well, because for my first like 3 episodes ever, you were like, bye from a mother and a mother lover. And so I thought that's the one.
I don't know what goes on here, you know. I just work here. Can I go pee?
I have to as well.
Okay. Oh, you guys, we're going to do a Q&A, but it'll be in like 30 seconds. So sit tight. In the meantime, put your questions and comments in the chat. Do, 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 do. Hi, guys. Back. So, yeah, that was a little BTS for you. Behind the scenes of what it's like when we make a podcast. And you know what? We keep the bickering to a minimum here on the YouTube. No, we don't bicker like in a non-joking sense. You guys saw the real shit. Hi, Pup Groomer. And Sophia said bye, but we're still here, Sophia. So if you're still here, hi. And hi, Alicia and Miss Sunrise Dawn. So good to see y'all. Hey, Renee. Back of Beyond. Mena, Shirley, Jen, Brian. Not sure who's still here, but a little shout out to everybody who was here, at least present in the chat, since that's the only way I can see. Sophia said real and chaotic with heart. That's what's up. And that was like one of our less chaotic episodes because we're trying really hard not to talk over each other. And we're also trying to keep shit to 80 minutes because there was a good chunk of time where our episodes were like 120 minutes and our editors were like, why don't you go fuck yourselves? They never said that because they're very kind and we love them, but I'm sure they thought it a few times.
Well, having been an editor, I will say when you stare down the barrel of that 120 minutes and it takes you like an hour to do the first 15, you're like,
yeah, no, I It's not enviable. Fallon Pup Groomer 20 says hi. Hey.
Hey. Hey,
Fallon
Puppy.
in the house. You guys have seen a lot of me, or you did see a lot of me for like all of November. And then I burned myself the fuck out. I started having all these like panic attacks and started feeling like depressive symptoms. And now I haven't gone live in a week. I've been resting. So, hey guys, what's up? I'm good. I'm okay. I was like, you were gonna do 3 to 4 planned segments a week,
Forever.
Ashley.
And record
Yeah.
not on YouTube.
Yeah, I was like, get your fucking life together. Are you kidding me? I was like, when I was like realizing the plans that I had made and like the effect that it was having on me, I was actually just laughing at myself. Like, what was happening in your mind? You were obviously having some sort of manic fucking episode that you were like, oh, I'm like Fallon. I can I can
What
do
is that?
80 things. You guys, Fallon doesn't have mania, but she just does like 90 hobbies and a career and children and fucking like I don't know,
I'm calming
school.
it down. I took my last final or turned in my last final this past week for my school semester. Now I get a whole 3 weeks off of not school. And I don't have another like dance related event till the end of May. So that's good.
That is good. That feels good for me, for you. So, I don't think we have many questions and comments because it
All
seems
right.
like people for the most part dipped. So, y'all, we have another episode to record not in front of you. We record 2 episodes on Fridays, and today it was either whatever the fuck I was doing, which was gonna be Selena up until Fallon realized when I
It was
put the
not
StreamYard
Selena.
link up 45 minutes ago or whatever that it was not Selena. And Pup Groomer, comment, go. Um, and Fallon is telling me now in private because I said we don't need to subject them to that. A couple of Canadian kids who went on, dude.
I feel like it's arguable that my topic is less heinous than the one you just told me, though.
I don't know, but mine's like kooky too. You know?
Yeah, but mine doesn't involve like 14-year-old pedophile grooming and,
I probably
like,
should have given more
God.
trigger warnings for that. I'll remember to do that for the podcast.
We'll put it in the show notes
This
too.
is what's up, you guys. This is how we do. Sometimes I'm like, oh, okay, that was a lot. When Fallon's like this for an entire hour.
Ooh. And you all should know that I don't typically have a super reactive, like I'm not always super reactive. So the fact that I was like this the whole time is a big deal.
That was pretty awesome. I mean, I was like, this is good storytelling.
You got me.
This is good storytelling, Ashley. Yes, brush it off, brush it off. Okay, Pup Groomer 20 says, thanks for the insight on dealing with the fear of going live. I've gone live 2 times now with a third sometime this weekend. Woohoo!
Ooh.
It. Could you please pass this thanks on to Alex as well?
Yeah.
I will. Yeah, me and Alex, Apostate Alex, did a little episode the other day where we just like caught up and talked about the fact that in January, yes, my friends, that means in well, probably like 3 weeks because January has 5 Tuesdays and it's only gonna be 4 episodes. So in a few weeks, me and Alex are gonna be doing a whole That's So Fucked Up Presents season about human experiments,
Ooh.
psychological
Not gonna lie, I'm
experiments.
super jelly because psychology is kind of my jam, and I know about all these. So
You're
maybe it's
like,
better I'm not doing it because I would be like, heard it.
yeah, if you were like, "Oh, can I just interject and tell you that blah blah blah?" I'd be like, "No, you can't. I'm telling the story. I love you. Shut up."
But F
What?
off for that spot on impression of me. Can I just interject? You see what I have to deal with. And I was just about to fix my glasses. So now I feel like super insecure about it.
It's like yeah, sure. Rex is a bully, but Ashley, she's a real bully too. Yeah, shank me with your horn. I'm all the way in Colorado though.
I got a
Um,
big horn.
I like big horns and I cannot lie. Fallon, do you have any insight for going live and if it's nerve-wracking or whatnot? A lot of the people who watch are also they have their own YouTube channels because people on YouTube are cool. They just like support. Pup groomer, I gotta go watch some of your shit. I didn't know you
Yeah.
had done some stuff. I'll go watch.
Same. I think I I will say that I got kind of surprised into going live. I was on a trip and Ash was like, "So I'm on YouTube now and when you get back, we will be going live." And I was like, "Ah, I don't want to be on YouTube." I have a
You did it?
YouTube well, not while I was in the middle of like Boston doing something else. So then I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to get myself a creepy brick wall. And
She built that in
I,
her house, you
I
guys.
built that. And my
Uh-huh.
family's really mad. I haven't left in days. I don't know how to get food. I'm just kidding. It's a backdrop. And no, it was fine. I think going live with another person, though, for me has made it easier because there's someone to talk to. So it's not just me.
Yeah, Pup Groomer said it was a bit of a suffocating fear there for a while, but I felt like what I had to say is important, so I really wanted to say it. So I asked several creators to help me. You know what? I
Good
think
point.
that just like, well, let's just do a little quick little mental health check-in, while we're here. I think that one of the most important things that I've learned to do over the last year or so is ask for and accept help. It is like so good.
What?
I know. I used to not because I knew that if somebody said no, that it would upset me, like I would feel rejected or whatever. It used to really make me feel super vulnerable to ask people for help. Um, but I think that learning how to ask and to accept it is very, very it's good.
I agree.
It's very good.
And
And
it is
God said
good.
it was good and it was good. Yeah. Jen next door, Jen Hachia, hey girl, said
Hey.
I get super anxious before doing lives and go pee like 5 times in 10 minutes. Oh my God, me too. You also have an anxious bladder? That's so funny. I'm always like, Fallon, I'll be right there. I'm just peeing for the 9th time real quick before we start.
Every time I sit down, I will start I will all of a sudden go, "Oh god, I gotta pee," and I will run as fast as possible to the bathroom because I it's like 1 minute, so I'm supposed to be on StreamYard.
That's me, but it's 1 minute after I was supposed to already be on StreamYard. So you guys, like don't don't do that.
Yeah,
There's a suggestion. Be ready to go live like
that's right.
5 minutes pre doing it. That that's some good advice that I'm going to try to give myself. Cat's in the house. Hi Katrina
Yeah.
Fisher. Hey
Hi.
girl. Cat loves your mug and
Thank you.
there might be another mug near future, Fallon. I don't know.
I know, I'm excited. I can't wait to see.
All right. Well, this is an hour and 34 minutes. And like I told you when I was looking at content, I was like, oh, that's an hour, over an hour 20. Can't do it. So I was actually thinking of like maybe learning the lightest of video editing skills just to like cut off the beginning and end chat.
Certainly all my microphone feedback and button pushing could go.
That was amazing, but
That,
loved that.
that was amazing.
That was great.
That's my Ashley voice. If mine is, let me interject. That's gonna be yours.
What's mine? That was
That
amazing.
was amazing. Fix your microphone.
Hey guys. Wait. Come on. Okay, real quick. Who am I? All right, bye guys. Whoa.
I don't know.
Whoa.
You can keep doing that, and I'm in.
Live and love after love.
Oh, share.
I feel like that was a good share impression. What the fuck?
I am
Get
I
out of
am
here.
0 out of 10 today on meeting
Whoa.
expectations.
Whoa. You guys, I was doing the mouth and the hair flip. Tell me that was good. It was good.
I mean, it was good. I just apparently wasn't catching what you were putting down.
No, you weren't, but it's whatever. Listen, you guys, we'll be here to fight again in front of you next week.
Just 7 short days, you too can be part of this magic.
And I will probably go live at some point between now and then. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to tell you guys, hey, I'm going to do it at this time that day, because I didn't like that. It was too much for me. And I
it's
love you
hard.
guys, and I want to cook with you. I want to talk more about mental health. I just don't want to do it at the same day, same time always. So if that means we just have to randomly catch each other on the fly, then, then so be it. Love you guys.
Bye.
Much love to you and the robot overlords. Peace out. Hey, like the video, please. Go listen to the podcast if you're not already doing that. If you like this, you're gonna love it there. And join our Discord, tsfuthepodcast.com. You guys, our Discord has quite a few of the people in the chat, and it's so fun. And come hang out with us and be weird and
Come play with us.
forever and ever. Bye. And ever
Bye.
and ever. I'm trying to end the stream. And ever.